Good afternoon, my name is Olga Tamanova and I want to thank everybody who joins us in Ukraine Media Center Ukraine Forum. It's day 524 of the full-scale invasion of our homeland by Russian occupiers, and now we will be talking about the situation in Dnipropetrovsk region. Joining us online is Mykola Lukashuk, the head of Dnipropetrovsk Regional Council. Good afternoon, Mr. Mykola. Good afternoon. Mr. Mykola, yesterday we know the Russian occupiers inflicted two intense strikes on the city of Kryvyi Rih. What are the consequences? Are the rescue works over on the site? Yesterday the rescue works were over at about 8 o'clock in the evening. We have 6 dead and 82 injured. There are 2 kids among those injured, and 19 people ended up in the hospitals with different degrees of injuries. So regarding the destruction, how many people were evacuated from the premises that are unfit for living anymore? Well, look, there were 2 strikes. There was information about it. They were inflicted by ballistic missiles. Iskander, one of the missiles targeted a residential building, which the 32 apartments are non-existent anymore. They were destroyed by a missile strike. About 37 apartments were severely damaged. Municipal council fully covered the needs of the people, but only 5 families applied for support. The rest of them reside with their friends and relatives. There will be examination of the building. We've all seen the pictures of Russian terror yesterday, and we understand that most likely that building will not be fit for reconstruction, but the Kryvyi Rih Municipal Council will make the formal statement after the complete examination of the building. Talking about the educational institution, is the center of the city. It's a central district of the city of Kryvyi Rih. There is a lot of people residing in that area. There are public transport stops around that area. Many people were going to work in the morning, so the missile targeted one of the educational institutions there, and the enemy keeps posting the information about destruction of a military target in their media resources. But talking about the strike on Kryvyi Rih, there is no information whatsoever, but we understand it's an intentional attack on the peaceful city, the civil facilities, including an educational institution. Well, talking about the situation in the Dnipropetrovsk region in general, what is it? We know that enemy continues to inflict strikes on other cities of the Dnipropetrovsk region. So what is the situation for the time being? Well, today we had a meeting of the Defense Council of the region. The situation is under control. The borders of our region are under control, but you see the enemy keeps attacking our region. There were missiles incoming to Dnipro, Kryvyi Rih. The enemy was using ballistic missiles. But talking about the shellings, the situation has not unfortunately changed in the districts of Nikopol, Marhanets. Those are the communities that border, the Marhanets community, they border on the water reservoir. There are cases of cannon artillery used by the enemy. Mr. Mykola, you were on site in Kryvyi Rih. What is going on over there? What have you seen? What do the people talk about? What is their sentiment? Well, the rescue operation was conducted by the National Guard and State Emergency Service with involvement of municipal services vehicles. The sentiment of the people, well, look, it's a tragedy. Kryvyi Rih is my native city. Today is the grievance day, and there is no excuse for the enemy for actions like that, because when a missile hits a residential building or a school or an educational institution, which results in such a huge number of deaths and injuries, including children, well, I don't know if it can be described in some normal words. talking about the attack on Dnipro, it's a miracle that no one died as a result of that attack. It's a miracle that the missile hit the upper floors where there were no people, but in the yard of that residential building there's usually a huge number of children playing, and it's a miracle they were not there at that moment. Well, the enemy continues inflicting intense strikes on Dnipropetrovsk region. In this regard, don't you observe any situation with the people deciding to move out of the area? Well, we monitor thoroughly the situation with the internally displaced persons. We are in constant communication with the residents, and many people deem Dnipropetrovsk region as safe. Definitely we need air defense systems. Definitely there is a missile terror, but people stay in the region because there are jobs here. There are opportunities for salaries and development here. Even in Nikopol itself, many people have left, but there is a significant number of people who left, working with the utility services, with the businesses, even regardless the shellings. So I cannot say that there is a tendency for the people to leave the Dnipropetrovsk region. Thank you very much for this information, dear colleagues. Do you have any questions to our speaker? Good afternoon, Olga Apanasenko, Ukrinform. I would like to ask you about Nikopol and Marhanets. They were separated from Energodar with the Kakhovka water reservoir. It's a couple of kilometers of water surface, and for what I understand, there is no such a significant obstacle anymore. Don't you expect any offensive actions to be performed by the Russians? Don't they accumulate some additional resources in Energodar compared to those we were observing before? Well, let me comment on what I can comment, and for the comments about the military situation, I would advise you to address the military so they disclose all the information they can. Well, talking about the reservoir, it's non-existent anymore. The water has returned to the riverbed of Dnipro. We understand the enemy uses cannon artillery to shell Nikopol community, which means that the enemy is in the distance of about 20 kilometers from there, and the rest I unfortunately cannot comment, and I advise you to address the military speakers of Ukraine. Mr. Mykola, thank you very much for joining our broadcast. I'm reminding you, joining us was Mykola Lukashuk, head of the Dnipropetrovsk Regional Council, and our team is working on the schedule for tomorrow, so stay tuned. Let's work together for our victory and thank our armed forces. Glory to Ukraine.